1 Corinthians 14:26 through 28 says, "What then is the outcome? When you assemble, each one has a psalm, has a teaching, has a revelation or a tongue that has an interpretation. Let all things be done for edification. If anyone speaks in a tongue, it should be by two or three at the most, and each in turn, and one should interpret. But if there is no interpreter, he must keep silent in the church, and let him speak to himself and to God." Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is 1 Corinthians 14:20 through 40, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, people can only really get in trouble in the last half of chapter 14. It addresses two very thorny issues. It forces us to realize that we are to be mature Christians in our actions and not children, and it addresses a prevalent situation which existed in the Corinthian church concerning women in worship. As we talked about yesterday, tongues must be interpreted by someone, and the gift of tongues is for those who do not believe. Prophecy is reserved for those who do believe. So the gift of tongues is not something to be desired by everyone, but rather to be exercised in a controlled and worshipful experience. Now, Paul now moves back to a situation concerning worship. The principle is that worship is to be done in a very controlled, precise, and decent manner. These things bring about confusion, cannot be worshipful. But if you look at the early church and then look at the experience of the Orthodox Church in Greece, you'll get a much better picture of an understanding of what Paul was addressing. In the Orthodox churches in Greece, men and women are separated during the worship experience. Women generally stand on the left and men generally stand on the right. If that is to be the case, then the idea of women not speaking in the church but asking their husbands at home makes a lot more sense. Paul is not suggesting that women are to be of lesser status. What he is suggesting is that a worship experience does not consist of talking across the aisles, so to speak. We are to be focused on God, not each other. The Corinthian church was practicing something totally different. So when you sit with your spouse or anyone else that you are with and close to, you are not to talk to them during the service. Your focus should be on God and on Christ.